If I ask you...
But you continue to relate questions to the Bible and say, well, it can be true in the Bible and today, but then you told me that you asked the questions separate from the Bible.
I know, because it is separate from the Bible. It is. It is very separate from the Bible. Separate. Well, I would say that's the least of the concerns. Sure, I mispronounced the word separate. You argue that 6-year-old girls should be forced to maintain pregnancy and give birth while actively supporting the adjudicated rapist, admitted sexual exploiter of naked children that is also culpable for the deaths of 174 girls in Iran. I'm pretty sure mispronouncing the word separate is probably the least of any of our intellectual worries.
You just put so many words in my mouth and so many.
To get back to the debate. So I don't know how I could describe this concept to you, because it's just like so fucking easy to understand that it shouldn't really need an explanation. So when I'm asking you the question, okay, should it be legal for women to drink bitter waters, or what would be the modern day equivalent of mifepristone, to force a miscarriage, okay? And I'm saying that that's not in relation to the Bible. All that I'm saying here is that I'm not drawing anything from the story in the Bible that mentions the same thing in asking you this question, right? But then, of course, I could later relate it back to the Bible by pointing out the fact that you're calling it an abortion in one circumstance, but you're not calling it an abortion in the other circumstance. I want to try to make this as easy to understand as possible. You're saying when women drink the bitter waters to force a miscarriage in the Bible, it's not an abortion, yes or no?
Could you please rephrase the question?
No, I won't. You're saying when women drink the liquid that forces the miscarriage in the Bible, it's not an abortion, yes or no?
No, it's God creating
I just want a yes or no. I just want a yes or no. When women drink the liquid that forces it... It is, you idiot. It is absolutely yes or no question. I got to put you back on mute because now I have to describe these elementary concepts to you. It is necessarily either true, okay, that it is a story about forcing a miscarriage by drinking liquid, or it is false that it is a story about drinking liquid to force a miscarriage. It cannot simultaneously be true and false, and it can't be true and it can't be false simultaneously either. Okay? It's either true that that's what the story's about, or it's either not true that's what the story's about. So is it true that the story is about drinking a liquid to force a miscarriage, and you're arguing that story's not about abortion? Or is it false that the story's about drinking a liquid to force a miscarriage, and you're arguing that that story's not about abortion? Which one?
Okay. Am I allowed to speak now?
I just want, is it true or is it not true? Is it true or is it not true? Is it true or is it not true?
Not that simple.
I'm so sorry. What relevant context am I missing here? I simplified it, but I don't think I overly simplified it. In negation of relevant context.
This is a story of the Bible and can be interpreted in many ways. And you have a viewpoint that causes you to interpret it in a specific way that might be different from ways that other people interpret it.
Can we agree
that actually follow the Bible and believe in its...
Can we agree that from both of our interpretations, this is a story about God being okay with a woman drinking a liquid that forces her to miscarry?
This is a story about God saying that it is not right.
I want you to answer my question. I want you to answer my question. I want you to answer my question. Can we agree that from both of our perspectives, this is a story that includes God being okay with women drinking a liquid that forces a miscarriage?
This is a story about God teaching a lesson.
I want you to I need a yes or no here. I need a yes or no here. Can we agree that this story includes, okay, God being okay with women drinking a liquid that forces them to miscarry? Maybe the story also includes a lesson about not cheating. But does the story also include God being okay with women drinking a liquid forcing them to miscarry?
For the purpose of the other lesson, yes, because it's a story.
Oh, okay. For the purpose of the other lesson. Okay. But you just told me that drinking liquid to force a miscarriage is abortion. So therefore, this is a story that includes God being okay with abortion.
No, I'm saying forcing women to...
Well, no. Now we need to go back to the drawing board. You've already affirmed that this is a story that includes God being okay with drinking a liquid to force a miscarriage. Answer this question on the screen, please.
I am not going to
answer the question. Then leave. Answer the question on screen, please.
I am not.
Should it be legal for women to drink liquid to force miscarriages? Answer the question.
You quoted bitter waters, which is a quote from the Bible.
Yeah. It just liquid.
Words out of the Bible.
Okay, liquid. Should it be legal for women to drink liquid to force miscarriages?
Is this question related to the Bible story or in the world now?
Bro, I just want to know what you think. Do you think that it should be legal for women to drink liquid to force miscarriages today in America?
To force abortions?
I just want a yes or no. Do you think that it should be legal for women to drink liquid to force miscarriages while pregnant? Yes or no?
No.
Why? Is it because it's abortion?
It's because you're killing a human life.
Wait, is it abortion?
It is choosing to kill a human life.
Is it abortion?
Which is an abortion.
It is abortion. So drinking liquid to force miscarriages is abortion? Yes or no?
No, you can keep trying to...
No, just answer my question. Is drinking liquid to force a miscarriage abortion? Yes or no?
Yes.
Okay, so earlier, less than a minute ago, you said that Numbers 5 is a story that includes God being okay with women drinking liquid to force miscarriage. You just explicitly and verbally affirmed that drinking liquid to force miscarriage is abortion. Therefore, you think it's a story that includes God being okay with abortion. Finally.
It's following God's plan. This is a story about God's plan.
No. Stop God's plan bullshit. Stop the God's... You affirmed earlier that it is a story that includes God being okay with women drinking liquid to force miscarriages. You just affirmed that drinking a liquid to force a miscarriage is an abortion. Therefore, you must necessarily affirm, okay, that it's a story that includes God being okay with abortion. Yes or no, right?
You can call the story of the Lord bullshit
Answer my question. I'm going to repeat myself because you're not responding to me. I'm going to repeat myself. I'm not talking about what I'm saying. I'm not talking about what I call it. I'm not talking about what I think. I'm not talking about how I feel. I'm not talking about anything to do with me and or my beliefs. Here's my argument from you, your beliefs, your thoughts, your statements. Remember, nothing to do with me here, all to do with you. I'm not going to mention myself once in this argument. Premise number 1, you affirmed that this is a story about God being okay with women drinking waters to force miscarriages. Premise number 2, you affirmed, okay, that drinking liquid to force miscarriages is abortion. Therefore, conclusion, you affirm that this is a story about God being okay with abortion. Explain to me where I'm going wrong in the creation of that argument. I want you to either describe to me how the conclusion doesn't necessarily follow given the two premises are true, or tell me which one of the two premises is true. Are you clear on the ground rules?
Yes, I would like to say that you are skewing God's words and phrasing questions into leading questions to try to get me to say things that align with your understanding of this reading.
And this had nothing to do with me. What premise do you reject?
No,
do you reject that the conclusion follows from the premises? Like, what's going on here? Premise number 1, you affirm that it's a story about God being okay with women drinking waters to force miscarriages. Premise number 2, you affirm that drinking liquids to force miscarriage is abortion. Therefore, conclusion, you affirm that God's okay with abortion sometimes. What part of that argument do you reject? Do you reject that it's a story that includes God being okay with women to drink liquids to force a miscarriage? Do you reject that drinking liquid to force a miscarriage is abortion? Do you reject that, therefore, God is sometimes okay with abortion? Like, which one of those 3 things do you reject? Tell me, which one of those 3 things do you reject? You have to reject at least one of those 3 things in order for it to not be true that God is sometimes okay with abortion.
God has his own plan, and in this story, because I need to think through my words. You just said a whole paragraph of sentences about me after muting me, so I would like to explain.
I just want to know which one of those 3 things you reject. You have to reject either, once again, this is a story that includes God being okay with women drinking liquid to force a miscarriage, or you have to reject that drinking liquid to force a miscarriage is abortion, or you have to reject that therefore, in consideration of those 2 facts, God is sometimes okay with abortion.
Okay.
Those are the 3 things you have to reject, at minimum one of them, for it to not be true that sometimes God is okay with abortion. Which one of those 3 things do you reject?
So that's another leading question, but I will answer it in this story, in this passage. My belief of it is that God caused the woman to miscarry for the sake of cause the woman to lose her baby for the sake of teaching a story about not being unfaithful to your husband. Therefore, I do not believe that God thinks abortion is okay in any other circumstance other than when he needs to use it as a tool to get through someone's heads how absolutely terrible it is, how you shouldn't cheat on your husband, and therefore you shouldn't have your baby with the man that you cheat on your husband with.
Okay, is rape terrible?
To describe a different... Yes, rape is terrible.
Is rape worse than cheating?
Yes.
Okay, so therefore you're okay with the victims of rape accessing abortion to get through to the thick heads of everybody just how wrong rape is.
So you're phrasing questions differently. Rape isn't the person's fault. And you're, again, rewording the things I'm saying. You're rephrasing my words into ways that you believe make more sense for your ideology.
Oh, wait, in this story, God uses a priest to further his plan, right?
What line are you reading that from?
I mean, the whole thing about how, right, like the husband goes to the priest with his wife, the priest gives the wife bitter waters, and then the wife drinks the bitter waters from the priest to force the miscarriage, right?
Yeah, so priests are supposed to be a continuation of God onto our earth to help us understand and hear his teachings.
Okay, so if God could use a priest to do his plan, then why can't a God influence or use a woman or a doctor to do his plan? Maybe abortions are God's plan.
Because they're choosing this. This was God's plan. God chose this. The woman didn't choose to lose her baby. She didn't want to lose her baby. He wanted her to lose her baby.
Wait, so abortions are only okay when it's against the will of the woman? What a crazy fucking view, dude. Abortions are wrong when the woman wants them. Abortions are right when the woman doesn't want them.
No, abortions are never okay.
Wait, well, no, that's not true. You can't say that they're never okay.
In this line, no. In this passage, you're saying that God's plan is that she had to miscarry.
Okay, so you do concede that abortions are sometimes okay.
No, I believe that it was God's. I believe that it
and
was.
That's
God's
why it's sometimes okay. When it's God's plan, it's okay. Therefore, it's sometimes okay.
No, in this story, it was God's plan.
Okay, so therefore, it's sometimes okay.
No.
Oh, then it's never okay. Then it's even wrong when it's a part of God's plan. Oh.
You're oversimplifying words way too much.
I'm sorry. Okay, can I move on to my second argument about Christianity? Here's the kicker. Here's the meat on the bone, folks. This is what you've all been waiting for. What branch of Christianity do you follow?
Catholicism.
Catholicism. Do you think that some sins are worse than others?
I believe that it's wrong to sin.
I know, but are some sins worse than others, or are all sins just as wrong as one another?
I believe that all sins are wrong, and...
But are some sins worse than others?
No, all sins are sins. Like they're
but
under
are all
a category
sins
of sin.
But are all sins identically as wrong as one another?
You asked me if all sins are equally wrong, and I'm telling you that all sins are wrong. There's not a difference in how bad.
Okay.
They're right or
perfect,
wrong.
Perfect. So all sins are just as equally as wrong.
So
as
you're
one
leading
me
on to say words.
I'm just trying to get your belief, brah. I'm just yes, to get me to my next point. Yes. Okay, here's my next point. Okay, it's a sin to lie, right?
Yes.
Okay, and lying is bearing false witness, intentionally saying something that is false.
So therefore, it's a lie to tell your children. Things, but sure, I'll play along. Where are you going with this?
So therefore, it's a lie to tell your children that Santa Claus exists. So would you argue that it should be illegal to tell your children that Santa Claus exists because it is a sin?
I cannot believe your woke ideology of how far you would take a point.
Yeah, woke ideology means proving people wrong with logic. I know. But would you seriously, would you argue that it should be illegal, okay, to tell your child that Santa Claus exists because it's a sin?
I don't have a stance on. I don't know how to answer your question right now.
Okay, so you're agnostic. Would you argue that you don't know
this is just because my brain doesn't work in the way that can comprehend such an idiotic question that I can't.
Such an idiotic question. Yeah, it's such an idiotic question. I know. Why is it idiotic?
Because
you're now suggesting that it's idiotic to criminalize sins, therefore it's idiotic to criminalize abortion.
No, I'm saying your question is completely irrelevant. And
wait, why? Because the sin of lying to your child about the existence of Santa Claus is just as wrong as the sin of abortion.
That's actually not a sin in the Bible.
Oh wait, it is.
Lying to your child about Santa Claus is not a sin in the Bible.
Yes, it is, because it's bearing false witness. That's one of the 10 commandments. You've never read Exodus 22?
It does say bearing false witness, yes.
Okay. Yeah, you bear false witness when you tell your child Santa Claus exists, because Santa Claus doesn't actually exist, unless I just spilled the beans, and for that I'm sorry.
Okay. No. I'm saying that the two aren't comparable.
Yes, they are. You actually are saying that they're perfectly comparable, because not even 2 minutes ago you said all sins are equally as wrong as one another.
All sins are wrong in the word that they are in the Bible. Bear false witness. It's saying morally. It's saying the Bible is about your morals. If you believe in the Bible, you believe in it for your own morals and your own...
That's not true.
You believe them in your own... Yes, because you just skewed a story to your own beliefs that are different from the way that I view them.
No, my beliefs had nothing to do with the last argument I gave you. It was all your beliefs. You're the one that affirmed it was a story that included giving liquid to a woman to force a miscarriage. You're the one that agreed that giving liquid to a woman to force a miscarriage is abortion. You're the one that agreed that, therefore, in accordance with logic and rationale, that God's okay with abortion sometimes. And no, by the way, you're not the standard of morality given Christianity is true. God is the standard of morality given that Christianity is true. So once again, you specified, even if God's not the standard of morality and you are, you specified that you think all sins are just as wrong as one another. So therefore, because you think that all sins are just as wrong as one another, the sin of lying to your child about the existence of Santa Claus is just as wrong as the sin of abortion. So therefore, if these two sins are equivalently wrong, why should one be legal and why should the other one be illegal? That doesn't make any sense. That's completely illogical.
No, I believe sins in a way that this is not morally wrong to me. Telling a child that Santa Claus exists is not morally wrong.
What's Leviticus 19:11? What's Leviticus 19:11?
You can pick and choose Bible verses all you want and put them all in your own context.
Leviticus 19:11 just says that you shall not lie.
Okay.
Is it a lie to tell your child that Santa Claus is real?
Do you believe in Christmas magic? Like, I don't know.
But is it a lie, though?
It's different. It's the child. It's a child.
But is it a lie?
Is what a lie?
Telling your child that Santa Claus is real.
Telling your child that Santa Claus is real is it's called Christmas magic? Like,
magic?
I don't know.
Witchcraft? Yeah. The Old Testament also says to kill people for that. But anyways, is it a lie?
You can keep trying to force me to say different things, but I'm
just curious. Is it true that it's a lie?
Doesn't count as a lie. No, in the context of the Bible, I don't believe in that. I don't agree that I think that a lie, in the context of the Bible, I believe that a lie. Can you please provide a definition for the word lie? Is using your words or using something in a wrong way or in a wrong sense. And I don't believe that. I don't know
lying's only lying when it's wrong?
Lying's only lying when it is to cause harm or some worse belief. Like, telling a child that Santa Claus exists is not a wrong.
What's the definition of the word lie?
I
what's
believe
the definition of the word lie?
Is wrong in the terms of
what's
things
the definition of the word lie?
You could look it up and read the exact definition if you'd like. I don't know this.
The exact definition of the word lie per Merriam-Webster is intentionally saying something that is false.
Okay, sure.
Then it is a lie to tell your child that Santa Claus exists because you're intentionally telling your child something you know is false.
Okay. Whatever. Yeah, whatever.
Okay, should it be illegal because it's a sin? Therefore it's a sin?
You stay on one topic until you force me to answer the way you want. This is what you've been doing this whole time.
I'm just asking you to answer. I will definitely sit here until you answer. That's right.
You will sit here until I answer the way you would like me to.
No, just until you give like an answer that's not like a category error, right? Like it is either true or false that it is a lie. All right. Therefore, I'm going to re-ask the question until you say it's true or false, because those are the only two possible answer selections. I mean, I think that's something that does make me a good debater, is that I'm not willing to, let anyone answer a question I ask with something outside of the possible answer selections. Like, no, you can't answer the question. Is it a lie to tell children that Santa Claus exists by saying it's like fucking Christmas magic, okay? Saying it's Christmas magic is not answering the question, is it a lie?
I've been debating you for almost an hour and you've refused to switch topics from abortion or answer any other question that I've switched.
Let's switch topics to trans people. Would you ever vote for a trans woman to be president?
If the person matched the qualifications, and I believe that they would be a good president, then sure, yes.
But you found a clip of this trans woman saying that they found it so funny when they barged into a woman's dressing room and saw all the naked women and girls.
I'm sorry.
If a trans woman was running for president, okay, and they said, well, sometimes what I'll do because I'm trans is I'll walk into the dressing rooms and then I'll walk inside and all the women and girls, they have no clothes on and they look incredible and I'll sometimes get away with this. And then they called it really funny. Would you ever support them as president?
No, I could not support that person as president.
Okay, what if it wasn't a trans woman and it was Donald Trump?
You're going to try to say that he does.
If Donald Trump did that, would you stop supporting him?
I don't believe that is correct.
I know it's not correct, but hypothetically, if it was correct, would you stop supporting him?
You love these hypotheticals, don't you?
I do.
You love to go skew away from facts.
Yeah. So hypothetically, if it was true, would you stop supporting him as president? Would you be done with him?
I support Trump as president, and I don't believe that this is something that he has done. And
if it was, would you stop supporting him?
I would not support him if that was something that he did.
As the owner of the pageant, it's your obligation to do that.
So you have done that. Now,
I'll tell you the funniest is that I'll go backstage before a show.
Yes.
And everyone's getting dressed and ready and everything else, and no men are anywhere. And I'm allowed to go in because I'm the owner of the pageant, and therefore I'm inspecting it. I'm inspecting. I want to make sure that
like
everything is good.
You're there.
Yeah, the dress. Is everyone okay? They're standing there with no clothes. Is everybody okay? And you see these incredible-looking women, and so I sort of get away with things like that.
Wow. Okay. I don't believe that it is the same thing for a transgender person to walk into a locker room full of girls, and I don't believe that that's something that I don't believe that this is in the same context that you just said. All that he said in that clip, all that he really said in that clip was that he would go into the dressing room, meaning that doesn't mean that he was in, your story was that someone walked in on naked girls changing and said that they looked good. Nowhere in that clip did it say anything about him fully walking in on girls naked or walking into any of those specifics. All that clip said was that he would enter the dressing room.
Anywhere. And I'm allowed to go in because I'm the owner of the pageant, and therefore I'm inspecting it. I'm inspecting. Right. I want to make sure that
like
everything is good.
You're there.
Yeah, the dress. Is everyone okay? They're standing there with no clothes. I want to make sure that
like
everything is good.
You're there.
Yeah, the dress. Is everyone okay? They're standing there with no clothes. Is everybody okay? And you see this. Is everyone okay? They're standing there with no clothes. Is everyone okay? They're standing there with no clothes. Is everybody okay? And you see these incredible-looking women. Okay, they're standing there with no clothes. Okay, and you see these incredible-looking women. These incredible-looking women. I'm inspecting. I want to make sure. Is everyone okay? They're standing there with no clothes. Okay, they're standing there with no clothes. Incredible-looking women. Okay, they're standing there with no clothes. Women, and so.
Are you just hoping it'll sink in at some point, or what are we doing right now? Okay. That's different from the people who are mentally unstable and are transgender people who are mentally unstable and would walk in these scenarios. I don't believe that is wrong, especially when you hear the stories about high schools and middle schools.
Pardon him?
I don't believe that is correct.
I know it's not correct, but hypothetically, if it was correct, would you stop supporting him?
You love these hypotheticals, don't you?
I do.
You love to go skew away from facts.
Yeah. So hypothetically, if it was true, would you stop supporting him as president? Would you be done with him?
I support Trump as president, and I don't believe that this is something that he has done. And
if it was, though, would you stop supporting him?
I would not support him if that was something that he did. Yeah, it's still not the same scenario as the transgender one you gave. I still believe that these are not the same.
I'm sorry, you said you would stop supporting him if he barged into the dressing room to look at the naked bodies of women and girls.
Yeah, and he didn't.
You just heard him admit to that.
Where's that news clip from? Where's that clip from?
Howard Stern's radio show in 2005.
That feels like a very credible source. You know what? I applaud you for finding such a niche source that no one's ever heard of it before. It probably doesn't actually exist.
Oh, that was the radio show that he said that on. And you're too young to understand, but it was the most popular radio show in the 90s and early 2000s.
You weren't even alive in the 90s and 2000s.
Right. That doesn't change anything that I just said as being true, though.
You can't call me too young when...
Yeah, I can. That's like literally the reason why you don't know what it is because you're too young.
I don't know all the details and have not heard of that specific clip before, but...
Okay. It doesn't matter, because you heard him admit to barging into dressing rooms to look at naked women.
No.
Yes. Listen, we'll run through it again.
No, we don't.
And I'm allowed. Yes. And everyone's getting dressed and ready and everything else. And
no matter anywhere.
I'm allowed to go in because I'm the owner.
He's allowed to go in there because he's the owner of the pageant.
Therefore, I'm inspecting it. I'm inspecting. I want to make sure that
everything's good.
Yeah, the dress. Is everyone okay? They're standing there with.
He asked them, "Is everything okay? Is everything good?" After he walks in there because he's the owner.
Is everybody okay?
Is everyone okay? Incredible looking women.
You claim to be a debater.
Like that.
You claim to be a debater and listen to other people's viewpoints and let other people say a point, but you have steered every single conversation into your specific scenarios that you have specifically
crash out.
looked up.
One moment. Kung Fu! Thank you for the $20 over on YouTube Super Chat. Thank you so much for the love, Kung Fu. Let's get 200 Kung Fu W's. Down below in the comment section who says, wow, this caller is full of it. You're telling me, bro. She's nuts. Thank you for the $20. Lizzie, thank you for the $10 who says, from a girl who went to Catholic school, you can be pro-life for yourself and respect another woman's right to choose. Deadass. Mark, thank you so much for the $25 over on Venmo. Let's get 250 Mark W's. Mark with the 25 says, this is your best debate on abortion I've ever heard you do. You had her in such a pretzel. Debating gold. Thank you so much for the $25, Mark. That is so kind of you. Lynn, LYN, thank you for the $20 as well, who says, so happy to see your real life hair. Thank you for taking the headphones off. I know, yeah, I got these little inner monitors now. Ben, thank you for the $25, who says, okay, so God is okay with abortion as long as it teaches somebody a lesson, apparently, right? Thank you for the $25, Ben. Sammy, thank you for the $20, who says, as an Old Testament minor, she's dead wrong. Numbers 5 isn't a story that can be interpreted in any way. It's a part of Leviticus. It's historically accurate. Yep, thank you for the $25. Alicia, thank you for the $25 as well, who says, she's absolutely an idiot. You have a lot of patience with these ignorant MAGA minds. Well, thank you so much for the love, Alicia. Let's get 250 Alicia W's down below in that chat. I'd say that there's definitely a lot that she's saying that I disagree with her. She's 18. She said that she was a senior in high school. So I'm just hoping that hopefully this conversation will wake her up to realizing how crazy her beliefs are. There's definitely still time that they could change. And then Sammy, thank you for the $10 as well on Venmo. Josh, thank you for the 5. And then Amanda, thank you so much for the $10 over on Venmo. This was from 32 minutes ago. Amanda said, calm down, Dean, let her get up. And it's just as relevant now. Kimberly, thank you for the $5 who says, thank you for your voice and especially your values. Oh, thank you so much for that love, Kimberly. Paige, thank you for the $10. I thank you so much, Paige. Tess, thank you for the $15 who says, that is literally a confession, like what they take in court, guilty as fuck. I know, right? Shop Trends, thank you for the $10 over on PayPal as well. Let's get 100 Shop Trends W's. Reagan, thank you for the $15 who says, I feel like one thing everyone misses and Trump says that he's allowed to go into the dressing room. Therefore, men in general are not allowed to go in. Yep. Faith, thank you for the $10 who says, Dean, you should have seen the look on my daughter's face when you said Santa isn't real. We listen every night. Keep up the good work. Oh, Faith's daughter. That was just for the debate. Just know that was just for the debate. He's real. He's real. Thank you for the $10. Angel, thank you for the $10 who says one more for today. Did you say that Santa's not real? But thank you for all that you do. No, he's real on God. Jolene, thank you so much for the $10. Who says, I'd rather send you money than to my streaming services. You keep me entertained for hours. Hell yeah, Jolene. I'm happy that we keep you entertained. Let's get it, dude. And then Kenna, thank you for the $10. Who says, thank you. This debate is helping my closing shift go quicker. It's definitely making time fly, man. That's for sure. And then Diana, thank you so much for the $25. Who says, as a therapist working with trans clients, they never come to therapy for their trans identity because it's not a mental health diagnosis. They, however, will because of trauma inflicted onto them by others, lack of acceptance, and hateful projections. MAGA is the problem. Thank you for what you do. You're absolutely right, Diana, and that's also something that we haven't addressed yet. Earlier, she said that like trans people aren't mentally sane, but apparently adjudicated rapists, boasted sexual exploiters are. Thank you for the $20. Yeah, by the way, being trans is not a mental health diagnosis. So anyways, back to the clip. You said that you'd stop supporting Trump if he barged into a woman's dressing room to look at the naked people inside. You just heard him admit to barging into the woman's dressing room to look at the naked women inside. He explicitly said that he allowed himself into a space where no men were allowed, where women and girls were naked and changing. He denoted the fact that they had no clothes on, meaning that they're naked. And he also denoted the fact that he thought they looked incredible. So you should stop supporting them in accordance with your logic.
Okay, what makes him any better from Biden just like constantly sniffing girls' heads on camera? And I don't have specific evidence. I don't debate like this every day. I don't know. I don't have these clips pulled up ready for that. But
yeah, check this out. If there was no difference between Biden and Trump, and Biden had engaged in very similar / comparable actions, the takeaway shouldn't be that you should still support Trump. The takeaway should rather be that you shouldn't support Trump or Biden.
Okay. I'm not denying your logic on that one. I'm just saying that you can't single out one president and claim it to be that when it's not just.
Okay. So you've stopped supporting Trump and now you're calling me out on my hypocrisy because I still support Biden.
You just called yourself out on that hypocrisy, but I still
because I don't think
Trump.
it's hypocritical because I don't agree with the claim.
Stopped.
Okay, so then you're the hypocrite here because you're singling out a president. You're acknowledging that he's engaged in vehemently wrongdoings that before you knew he did it would be a red line that you'd stop supporting him over, yet you still support him even after learning it's something that he's done.
Because I don't believe that it's in the same scenario in which you phrased it beforehand.
It absolutely was. I phrased it in the sense of going into a woman's dressing room, looking at the naked bodies of the people inside, boasting about it, saying they look good. Can we agree that that does amount to sexual exploitation?
The debate was about transgender individuals.
Well, I'm sorry, answer my question. Can we agree that it amounts to sexual exploitation?
Have you seen Riley Gaines discussing the horrors of having a transgender athlete competing against you and with you and being allowed into the locker room? Have you seen that?
Oh yeah. Well, you know who did see Riley Gaines? The transgender athlete that was in front of her in the race, alongside the 3 other cis women. She placed 5th. Really embarrassing, if you ask me. She's a terrible swimmer. No wonder she quit to pursue a half-assed social media career. But anyways, can you please answer my question? Can we agree that it absolutely does amount to sexual exploitation?
I somewhat respected your ability to debate before this, but now I realize that you just put down every person that you disagree with or that follows something else. Right. And
can you answer my question though?
You point towards an elite female athlete is so sad.
Oh my God, so sad. I know. Can you answer my question? Like, is it sexual exploitation for a man to abuse his position of power over the position of vulnerability of a woman in furtherance of unconsensual sexual conduct, like Donald Trump barging into their dressing room to look at their naked bodies without their consent?
You find one piece of evidence and decide that it means the world. And I'm not denoting it. I'm not saying that I won't look into it. I'm not saying that you haven't mentioned something that I hadn't listened into and heard about before.
Because it's him admitting to it. That is the strongest evidence you could have for anything. There's no level of evidence that's stronger than an admission of guilt, right?
I still don't believe your evidence fully, and I would like to look into it for myself.
Why? He admitted, you heard him admit to it.
No,
Why wouldn't you believe it? It's not
Yeah, I
someone
heard it
else
from
saying
you,
he
and
did.
I don't trust your beliefs on this. So, and I don't
No,
trust
you
that
didn't.
is credible.
No,
so
you
I
didn't
would like-
hear it from me. You heard the clip of him saying it. Like, do you think it's AI? It was from 2005. It can't be AI.
Okay.
So, like, do you think that was Trump speaking or not?
No, I'm saying that I don't know the context of that, so I'm not comfortable debating the
context. You want to listen to the context?
No,
Let's
no, no.
listen to
I'm
the
not
let's listen to the
debating-
context together. Let's
I'm
listen to
not
the context
comfortable
together.
debating
One of
a
them comes
topic
up to you and
that
says, Mr. Trump, you're a very sexy man.
You're a beautiful man. You have fantastic hair.
Well, you're a powerful man.
This isn't a debate if you keep muting
Right.
me.
Right? You're a
Right.
powerful man.
Right.
I want to sleep with you. Now, you're not the type that would say no.
I don't want to hurt their feelings.
Right. No,
Right.
but I mean, you see a beautiful woman, you want to have that. You're
Well,
a
you
guy who
certainly
likes to
think
have
about it.
everything, right?
Well, couldn't that be construed, however, as
Conflict?
yes?
I don't see it as a conflict.
It could be a conflict of interest, but it's the kind of thing you worry about later.
Oh, I see.
You tend to think about the conflict a little bit later on.
question is, how can it not be construed?
No, I mean, some of these foreign girls, Mr. Trump, in my country, we say hello with vagina. And
Well, you could also say, as the owner of the pageant, it's your obligation to do that.
So you have done that. Now, tell me
Well, I'll
what
tell you the funniest is that I'll go backstage before a show.
Yes.
And everyone's getting dressed and ready and everything else. And, no men are anywhere. And I'm allowed to go in because I'm the owner of the pageant, and therefore I'm inspecting it. I'm inspecting.
Right,
I want to
right.
make sure that
You're like a
everything is
doctor.
good.
You're there.
Yeah, the dress. Is everyone okay? They're standing there with no clothes. Is everybody okay? And you see these incredible-looking women. And so I sort of get away with things like that.
Worst possible time to ask for context. By the way, here's more context. So this is Miss Arizona talking about what happened to her when she was competing at Miss Teen USA.
I'm a retired general surgeon.
No,
I
that's
fell
actually
while
Laura.
running and
It's an
injured
ad.
my shoulder. I
Here we
knew I
go.
needed.
Here's Miss Arizona.
He just came strolling right in. There was no second to put a robe on or any sort of clothing or anything. Some girls were topless, other girls were naked.
As Miss Arizona 2001, Tasha Dixon competed in the Miss USA pageant. Donald Trump owned the contest along with Miss Universe and Miss Teen USA for 19 years.
Our first introduction to him was when we were at the dress rehearsal and half naked changing into our bikinis. To have the owner come waltzing in when we're naked or half naked in a very physically vulnerable position, and then to have the pressure of the the people that work for him telling us to go fawn all over him, go walk up to him, talk to him.
And Dixon has strong opinions about what she thinks were Trump's motivations.
Is that enough context?
Sorry, I was finding the unmute button since he muted me again because it's not.
Was that enough context?
I did see your clip, but I'm saying that it's not the same as the transgender athlete in the case of Riley Gaines, and you keep
I know it's
avoiding
worse.
you keep avoiding my context
What?
and my specific.
Wait. How is it not worse for a cis man
I'll listen to you switch it back to Trump.
to barge in to a private women's only space with the intention of sexually exploiting
he did it.
naked minors? Explain to me how that's not worse.
I'm saying my debate that the portion of this debate that I actually know about and
Wait,
understand.
but you know everything about this. I just played you him admitting to it. I played Miss Arizona corroborating it. What else could
That
you
does
possibly
not mean
need
that
to
I know everything about this.
Do you
I'm
wanna
not
read more
claiming
about
to
it?
know all of this. You can keep playing clips.
I'm sorry. Like, I can. Like, do you want to know more about it? Do you?
I would like to learn more about this without it being skewed in your BuzzFeed. Wow. What a
Yeah.
source.
Yeah, BuzzFeed isn't necessarily a journalistic empire, but they did happen to interview a couple beauty pageant contestants. Look at this. 4 women who competed in 1997 Miss Teen USA beauty pageant said Donald Trump walked into their dressing room while contestants, some as young as 15, were changing. "Quote unquote, I remember putting my dress on really quickly because I was like, oh my God, there's a man in here," said Mariah Billato, the former Miss Vermont Teen USA. Trump, she recalled, said something like, "Don't worry, ladies, I've seen it all before." 3 other women who asked to remain anonymous for fear of getting engulfed in a media firestorm also remember Donald Trump entering the dressing room while girls were changing. 2 of them said girls rushed to cover their bodies, 1 calling it shocking and creepy. The 3rd said she was closed and introduced herself to Trump. We could also head
People
over here to quote
do
unquote, we were
people
all
still
naked
respect you when
Donald
you're
Trump
quoting
said
BuzzFeed?
walked. Well, I'm not quoting BuzzFeed. I'm quoting the interview that they did. Like I agree.
BuzzFeed, that can be edited. I don't think you understand how social media works and how posts work online.
This isn't social media or a blog. It's an article.
And it's not a reliable source. You can quote.
It doesn't. Wait. I would agree. Listen, I would agree that BuzzFeed wouldn't be a reliable source for like journalistic investigations. Okay, like I don't really think that they're credible enough to trust if like they were to conclude through an independent investigation that this is something Trump did. But it's not like a complex journalistic investigation. It's just like a write-up of what people said to them in an interview. It is patently illegal to falsely quote people. It is patently illegal, very illegal. So
You're very passionate about that, aren't you?
I agree. I would never look to them for journalistic investigation. But this isn't a journalistic investigation. It was just an interview. All right, an interview that corroborates this.
I want to make sure that
You're like
everything
a doctor.
is good.
You're there.
Yeah, the dress. Is everyone okay? You know, they're standing there with no. Is every
An interview that corroborates this.
He just came strolling right in. There was no second to put a robe on or any sort of clothing or anything.
I think it's clear that he did this. Can you deny that Donald Trump barged into those dressing rooms? Yes or no?
I'm not going to accept or deny it.
What evidence would you need?
I would like to look into things on my own time.
But like,
and
what kind
separate
of
from
evidence would you
yours.
need to see?
I just need more research.
But like, I know, but like, you need to do more research to find more evidence. What
corroborate
kind of
each other.
evidence would you need to see?
I would need to research for myself.
I know, but
don't
like,
know.
what kind of evidence would you need to see?
You don't know because I just said
You don't
I
know what
would
kind of
know.
evidence you need to see? The reason why that's your answer is because you know that there's no better evidence than him admitting to it. There's no better
There might
evidence than
not
that.
be.
Okay,
There
so
might
then
not
you
be.
so then why don't you accept it knowing that we have fulfilled the highest evidentiary standard required for
No.
that
Keyword I
could
said
ever
might
be used to
not
prove
be.
it. Bro, dude, I'm so sorry. You're a fucking idiot. Like, I know that like you're 18, you're a couple years younger than me, and I've tried to give you some grace for that reason, but like that grace has ran out. You are like legit a moron. Like, holy fucking shit. Like, you actually have to be so stupid, okay, to be sitting here listening to a clip of Donald Trump admitting to it, listening to a clip of Miss Vermont saying he barged in on her while they were naked, Mariah Bilato saying that it happened to her too, 3 other women and teens too, and on top of, once again, him admitting to it, on like the biggest radio show prior to 2010, and then your takeaway is, I don't know if it happened or not, I need to go do my own like, you're an idiot, dude.
And your
like,
solution
imagine
as a
if we were
21-year-old
doing
is
this.
to
Imagine if we were
resort-
doing this with like any other topic. Imagine that, like, I'll give you an example. You came up here as like a flat earther. Let's hypothetical. You came up here as a flat earther. I think that the globe is round, and we're about to debate about the shape and size of the earth. And you're like, the earth is flat. I'm like, well, what's your evidence? You're like, I don't have any. And I'm like, the earth is round, and you're like, no, it's not. And then I start giving you evidence. I show you a fucking picture of the earth. Like, that's not enough evidence. I need to go do my own research. I show you like a live stream video feed of the earth. That's not enough evidence. I need to go do my own research. Okay. I show you pictures I took when I was in space of the earth. Not enough evidence. I need to go do my own research. I show you the 24-hour sun at the North Pole and South Pole and how that is inconsistent with the flat earth model. Not enough evidence. I need to go do my own research. I show you all the evidence that exists for it being round. Not enough evidence. I need to go do my own research. Like I understand that what I'm saying here is like rude or whatever, but it's true. It's like you're actually an idiot. If like you could sit here and listen to a clip of him admitting to it, a clip of the women and girls that he said he did it to, saying it happened to them, and then your takeaway is, I don't know, right? Just like dumbassery 101. It's like you cannot actually be more brainwashed than this. There's
You just
no level
equated
above
giving
this.
5 pieces of evidence to giving one story and then one corroboration of that story.
I have a question. It was an admittance of guilt with the testimony from the victim.
I would like to talk,
If you
please,
lived
and respond to what you just said, because you as a 21-year-old, and you've pointed out many times that I'm 18 and continuously have chosen to swear and mock.
I'm sorry,
age gap
everything I've said is
instead,
true.
because
I hate to
that
say
is
it.
that's your solution. And I may disagree with you, but that's not something I would ever stoop to the level of, and I just can't.
Bro, you're defending the president sexually exploiting naked kids even after I play you his admission of guilt and show you the clips of the women saying it happened to them as kids. Like, legit. Dumbassery. Idiocracy. I'm sorry that it hurts you. I would get hurt too if somebody called me an idiot. It's not fun, but it's true nonetheless. It's like, bro, like, I know, like, I kind of feel bad calling you an idiot. All right, I just do. I feel bad calling people stupid and dumb and berating them and being an ass. But it's true. It is. I hate to admit
It's true that you're an ass? Did you just say that about yourself?
It's true that you're an idiot. And if that makes me an ass, so be it. I'm all right with that because sometimes the truth hurts. Now, I'll give you an example of your idiocracy. Imagine, I don't know, you're about to go to college.
We're going to do another hypothetical. That's a great plan. No, go for it. I'd love to hear it.
You think that critical thought is like stupid. Another data point to justify the fact that you're a goddamn idiot, dude. But listen, anyways, hypothetical.
Resorting to making fun of literally an 18-year-old again. You've pointed out that age gap and then continue to insult it.
Dude, listen. I was actually younger than 18 when I started to do what I'm doing now. All right? I'm willing to like give some level of grace because of your age. But at the end of the day, that level of grace definitely does not extend to the notion of you, of me accepting or not calling you an idiot for arguing that an admission of guilt isn't enough, right? Like, I'm sorry, bro. Like, if somebody like double your age, if I had a 45-year-old join my stream and the 45-year-old started saying that 6-year-old girls should be forced to maintain pregnancy for the rest of, for 9 months and whatever, like, I would have been so much more rude to them than I was to you. All right, like I'm giving some grace here, but that doesn't change the fact that what you're saying is nuts. Okay, all right. But back to the hypothetical. It's very simple. You live with a couple of roommates. One of them's a man, and last night this man that you live with as a roommate went to a party, and you knew that there's a bunch of drunk women there with him. He came home from that party and he told you that at this party he raped someone, and then you start asking all the women that attended that party if he raped them. And then you find a woman that says yes. He raped me, that's what she says. Would you have more than enough evidence to believe that he did it?
Would I have more than enough evidence to, because he came home from a party and said he raped someone, and then I find someone who got raped at that party, you're saying that I should have more than enough evidence to believe that it was him? And she says that she was raped by him. Yes. Would you have more than enough evidence to believe he did it? I'm not saying I wouldn't believe her. I would.
Well, actually, would you? Would you believe her?
I wouldn't go around asking women in the first place because I think that is such a breach.
Would you believe her?
You don't walk around asking someone.
I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. In the hypothetical, you did. Would you believe her? Would you believe that he raped her?
I wouldn't have a reason not to believe her, but I wouldn't just blindly say yes.
But you're not blindly saying yes because the first thing was him admitting to it to you. Would you believe that he raped her? Would you believe that he raped anyone at that party if he told you he did?
You can keep rephrasing the question to get me to answer differently. I just told you.
If you were to believe him, would you be doing so blindly?
Everything you say is just a hypothetical. That's not a debate.
If you were to believe him, would you be doing so blindly, yes or no?
If I believed him that he raped someone at the party, would I be blindly believing her that she said he did?
No, so easy yet so confused. Okay, listen, it's a very easy question. Live with a man.
You can keep rephrasing it, but I'm not going to change. You're not going to force me into saying something.
You don't understand the question. You don't understand the question. I'm just trying to get you to understand the question.
Okay.
Live with a roommate that's a man. You know he was at a party with a bunch of drunk women last night. He comes home. He tells you that he raped a woman at that party. He says, listen, this is what I did. And then you go start asking the women that attended that party. One of them tells you that he raped her. Would you believe that he raped a woman at that party, yes or no?
I mean, I would believe my roommate that he raped someone at the party. I wouldn't blindly believe that she is who it was. But I'm also not saying that I would deny her that belief. I'm saying that it's more complex than just saying...
Even that's like holy shit. Like, you're crazy for that. But, I mean, the first takeaway there is that you said that you would believe he raped somebody, even if you don't know if it was her or not. Which, by the way, that's just like, you're a terrible person for that. But regardless...
I'm a terrible person for not believing her off of one statement?
Yeah, because you're not just believing her off of her statement, which should be all it takes, because you're also believing her off of his statement that he.
I'm not saying that I wouldn't believe her either. I'm saying that
here's the thing.
It requires more than one statement.
Regardless of what it is, one of your two takeaways there is that you would believe him if he admitted to it. So then why don't you believe Trump, considering the fact that he admitted to it?
I just told you that you had 2 clips ready and queued up, ready to go. Whatever.
Yeah, but the clip
if I
was
did
him
my
admitting
research,
to it.
I could
But
probably.
the clip was him admitting to it. But
if
the
I
clip,
looked
can you agree that the clip was Trump admitting to it?
I saw your clips. You're not going to force me into an answer.
Is this Trump admitting to it?
Obligation to do.
Now,
Well, I'll tell you the funniest is that I'll go backstage before a show.
Yes.
And everyone's getting dressed and ready and everything else. And, no men are anywhere. And I'm allowed to go in because I'm the owner of the pageant, and therefore I'm inspecting it. I'm inspecting. I want to make sure that
You're like a
everything is
doctor.
good.
You're there.
Yeah, the dress. Is everyone okay? They're standing there with no clothes. Is everybody okay? And you see these incredible looking women. And so I sort of get away with things like that.
Did we just listen to a clip of Donald Trump admitting to going inside of a woman's dressing room and seeing naked women with no clothes on?
That could lead me to respect him less.
Did we just listen to a clip of Donald Trump admitting to going into a woman's dressing room and looking at people with no clothes on?
Whatever clip you found did say that.
Okay. So you accept that Donald Trump admitted to barging into a woman's dressing room to look at naked people inside, right?
You're just going to keep rephrasing questions to force me to
Is the answer to that question yes?
That's framing a question.
Dude, this person is so fucking stupid, dude. Oh my god. Hello Panda.
Really
Thank you so much for the $20 over on Super Chat. Who says, Dean, I respect your right to free speech. I just want to note that calling someone stupid often makes people defensive and shut down. When that happens, they stop hearing your point and the message may get lost. I appreciate you so much for the $20, Hello Panda. I think that you're right. I just also don't think that she's being any more defensive right now than she was like an hour ago. If that makes any sense. And I kind of think that it was stupid as fuck to say, and I don't think I'm going to change her mind. Listen, Mary, I'm going to be honest. I don't even know how you're a real person. I genuinely hope that one day you get a brain, okay? Because that day's not going to be today. Control, thank you for the 10 Australian dollars. I really appreciate you so much for the love. Thank you. I just kicked her. So sad, bro. Can we just take a moment to reflect on the level of indoctrination that is experienced by so many members of our youth? Like, what has to happen to somebody for that outcome to occur? What has to happen for that outcome to occur? I can't even... it's hard for me to even conceptualize of what has to happen for that outcome to occur. Because that was bad. Even like when I was like 16, 15 and I supported Trump, I know that if somebody played me that clip, my response wouldn't be, I don't have enough evidence to believe he did that. Like, I know that wouldn't have been my response. Also, you can't give grace to that, man, because that's not just like little, like, 18-year-old is so indoctrinated, feel bad. It's, like, actually harmful as fuck. That attitude, that mindset, that level of indoctrination leaves no room for believing victims or survivors whatsoever. None. Because what could they do? If they were to tell you, would you believe it? No. If they were to prove it in court, would you believe it? No. Because if the abuser were to admit to it, you wouldn't believe it. That leaves no room for believing survivors whatsoever. If everybody thought the same way she did, rape, sexual abuse, pedophilia would explode by like 3 quadrillion 3 quadrillion %. Like, you'd be like, I hate to say this, but it's true. Every woman and every girl would be getting raped and exploited like every week. Like, it would literally be worse than it would be worse than the world just getting nuked. If everybody thought the way she did, I genuinely believe that it would be worse than the world getting nuked and humanity disappearing tomorrow. Because humanity would still exist, but it would just basically be a societal rape machine of women and girls. That's all it would be. That's all it would be. A social rape machine. Oh, you have a vagina? You're going to get fucking raped. Like, so very frequently. Because if everyone didn't believe admissions of guilt from the abusers, like, it's just like, it doesn't exist. Rape and sexual abuse, it just doesn't actually exist anymore. And that's like what my brain is struggling to understand. At like that point, it doesn't exist insofar as like the concept of understanding that it happened to somebody else. I don't know. Hopefully you understand what I'm saying. I'm sure that it's easy to misinterpret my words, but at the end of the day, the sentiment that I'm trying to communicate is that is just genuinely such an evil thing. Such an evil thing. That I think is probably underplayed by myself and many of the viewers when we hear it on live, because it just becomes full denial of one of the worst things that could ever happen to anyone, regardless of the level of evidence that you have to believe it occurred. It is the imposition of an impossibility that a woman or a girl could get raped. That's all I'll say. I could probably go on and on. I think about that. I think about that every single time I hear that sentiment from a guest. Addison, thank you for the $10 over on Venmo. Says, how do you think that you would do against professional debaters? I think I do better against professional debaters because they give like better arguments that I'm able to like more effectively dispute, because I oh my god, I'm fucked. I was petting Momo earlier, just wiped my eye. Oh my god, I'm cooked. Oh my god. Okay, I'm gonna cut myself off there. Kamani, thank you so much for the $18 over on Venmo. Kamani says, Dean, she's literally an 18-year-old adult. How can you cuss at her? Clutching my pearls so hard right now. So real. Thank you so much for the $18. Serena, thank you for the $10. And then I appreciate everyone else who sent in a donation as well. I think one more person right now. Kung Fu, thank you so much for the $20. Who says, if you were a member of a gym that I owned, would it be all right for me to enter into the women's locker room and inspect it during normal business hours? No, that'd be fucking sexual exploitation, dude. Kung Fu, thank you for the $20. Now, for everybody tuning in, I love and appreciate every single one of you guys. Thank you so much for joining. I gotta hop off for the night because I just wiped my eye, and my eye is now starting to itch because I have a cat that I was petting. So I gotta go wash my eyes out right now. Peace and love, everybody. Good night and goodbye. See you tomorrow.